Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are here in SS2-12. This is a division. Well, actually, I'm on my scout. We have to do it this way. Oh, no, hang on. We can, yeah, I guess we could maybe do it this way, right? So 12, this is comprised of 11, 13, 15, 21, 94, 95, 98, 99, 108, 109, 110, 114, 117 that we have. A little bit faster if I want to kind of stay in here without having to zoom out. But we have right now with SVG and RoG going up against IL Squiggly and Squiggly IL right now. This is here in Final Zone. As we zoom out, or is this Final Zone or Zone 3? Okay, Zone 3. Ooh, there we go. It took me right there when I punched in the chords. So you could see here that for this one we have IL Squigs, we got Squigs IL, SVGa, RoG, SVG, and then I don't know who this red one is. Okay, so it looks like it's the same, all connected, but basically kind of like a 2v1, 3v1. I gotta make sure I'm not missing anyone else. There's RoGR. I don't know how much SVGa is doing right there based on the numbers, but yeah, it looks like they just curved over there. Okay. Yeah, so probably for the most part it's a 2v2, but technically 3v2 if you want to consider that. We'll have to see if we see some SVGa players here in the mix. And yeah, it's been going on for a minute. So SVG has about 40 minutes left on this tower. They're obviously trying to get over here southeast, over here to the rock where the IL fam is. And this is kind of the convergence point. There's a lot of PvP action that's been going on right now. There's a few people actually that pinged me about this. And let me see if we could do this. There we go. We'll go up on it there. And I'll turn this up a bit. Hopefully you guys can hear that and it's not too crazy loud. But again, nice to hear some sound effects, even if you get some minor background noise. And maybe even the sound effects might be best. But, you know, who doesn't like some elevator music in the second layer of behind everything? But yeah, man, so far, again, on this choke point, essentially, kind of a wider one at this time that they're fighting on here in more Brez for Zone 3 of their Season 2 Plus group. They've been fighting for a while. I think we covered them fighting before. I have to see exactly when this one was covered. Oh, yeah, we last covered them on the 2nd, so at least I was recording this was a couple days ago. But, again, they're going at it again. So, why not come out and be able to get some good PvP action, right? That's what we're all about. Ooh, nice shadow games there. Getting multiple negative purple there on basically a full artifact usage, which is really what the hope is, right? Trying to get max damage output there. So seeing a little split here where we have a few units on the north side and then the majority of the force. You know, in this situation, I'd like to see a little bit more of a split. And I say that because, one, if you can fight from multiple fronts, you know, you want to try and do that. And mainly because you want to be able to use all the width here, right? So, like, the example is something like this, right? And then that way you can hit multiple lines. You don't want to fight here, right? You'd rather fight wider or wider. That's kind of the idea there. You know, if anything, you want to try and push this group. Now, see, this is more favorable, this RoGSV situation, right? Because look, they're in this thin choke. They're spreading out a little bit more. This could obviously be a bit better, where really if you're going to push up again, then you should be using this space and filling out over here as well, right? Don't let this space go unused. But those are things that you want to try and do when you're pushing up. And this is a little bit more favorable right now because of the condensed pack that this RoG SVG bunch is in right now. But then ideally you want to try and get up here, right, to where you can then use this space, right, to then attack from. So again, that's where we'd like to try and see it. And that's why I say they should be attacking as well. It shouldn't just be the southern. Like, you should be attacking on both fronts, applying pressure from both fronts. Where RoG and SVG are probably going to see a little bit more advantageous benefits is kind of in this situation that's happening right now, where you're not seeing a lot of pressure happening here from the top, and they can kind of focus on one by one. But it's a give and take, right? Like, I don't know if I'd go this hard with, maybe having that, like, that person from RoG. I don't know why we're just kind of sending out that unit to die necessarily. They barely got to the front line there. That's something where, again, from both sides, even if you're talking from the RoG SVG side, utilizing your space. If we talk about it the opposite way, and let's get some pink here, right? They would almost want to do something like this, probably, I would imagine, right? And probably better if we did it like this, right? So it's almost like this, something, and that's kind of a wide one. It's probably more like this is a little bit better, but that's probably what you'd like to see on their side doing, utilizing the space where they're still hitting the players over here near Icehawk's city right there in front, but coming up here to this, I guess this area just before this thinner choke. But listen, man, seeing a lot of PvP. That's what we like. That's a terrifying for a burst strike. I got good sleep last night. I'm going to be honest, I did. I got my water here. Sometimes it just does not prevent amazing yawns from echoing, from escaping my chamber. What chamber that controls the yawns? I have no idea. No idea. Let's see what we have on the field here. So it looks like mostly mage, some archer mixed in. Mostly mage, some archer mixed in. We got some calves right there. And then mostly archer mage. And then interestingly enough, you see a lot of infantry that's here on... Oh, interesting. That zoom worked out better when we zoomed out and then went in. Usually I zoom in and then go out for a bit, for at least an attempt on some better angles. Okay. That helped me clear my sinuses. Jeez, they've been, I know they've been going for a minute here in Zone 3. And I have to see what I have for my notes on this group for 12 again. Oh, I'm tripping. I'm forgetting that this is, no. This is the right one, right? Why do I have... Are they in Zone 2? And I'm really... Okay, so they are Zone 2. Did I say Zone 3 earlier? I'm feeling like I did say that. So excuse me. They're basically fighting in the PvP zone, which is totally cool. What's happening over here? Is there some fighting happening here? No. Oh, interesting. Oh, I thought there was. Okay, well, I mean... Slightly looked like there might have been. IL-SC. Oh, interesting. Oh, so look, so there's another battlefield that we totally missed. So, if we're zoomed out, there's this battlefield, the one we're watching, and then I don't think anything else is happening up here, right? Because they can't get here. They have to go through... this area to get to the Thunder Rock, or here, right? So basically, it's like here. I think maybe small opening there, but then here, right? So it's essentially from here to here, though. In short, right, is what they're trying to hold on their side, going eastward. Dude, both sides are bringing the rain, though, man. When you just see a lot of... Oops, what's that? Let's scoot that over. Donnie's just letting me know about a bunch of merits that were happening in this group for 12. Yeah. I'll have to check. I haven't looked at merits yet. That's the one thing. It is, man. It's funny because I'd love to do that kind of thing where we look at what, like what's the power level for the alliances and what's the alliance merit points as far as before zones open. Because part of me just feels like that could be good context and additional layers to stories where we can talk about that data and how it plays into how much fighting is going on, what's expected fighting numbers going into future zones, who's showing up overall, right? What's the plus minus differential from zone to zone on how much fighting is going? I mean, again, there's interesting things you can talk about there that are related or that would be relatable. It's just that it takes time to pull that. Again, that's one of the things, I wish I could sit down and and I'll tell you, right, usually every 2 to 3 days, and that's about how often I do it, I'll go through each KVK, whether that's Season 2 or if it's Season 3, and I'll go through each one, and I will look at where each of the KVKs are, with the exception of Final Zone, right? I'll look at, as far as, specifically for those that are already in Final Zone, I'm talking about pass openings, right, or potential PvP moments or wars that could break out. Well, and this is just when it comes to the KVK groups. So I'll go through each one, and something is in the eye. I'll go through each one, and I'll look at, okay, well, hey, this is when Zone 2 is going to open. This is when Zone 3 is going to open. This is when the Final Zone is going to open. And then I'll look at and see, okay, well, this is the day and time it's going to open at, and then who are the matchups, right? Like, what are the matchups there in each zone? And it helps me kind of keep up to date. And then I'll also ask in those groups, in World Chat, or sometimes I'll ask some of the leads, but usually just in World Chat, and I'll ask people to say, hey, right, can anyone let me know what the matchups are going to be going in? And so it helps a lot when I, put together all my data, if you will, on my spreadsheet, because I have tabs for each season. I have the matchups that are there for each of the zones. So I more or less kind of know where all the fighting is going to happen, or I should say I have a high percentage chance because of that, of knowing where all the fighting is going to happen before it starts. So and then I'll even ask people, and then once I know when the pass opens, right, I'll know, okay, well, I can go here now when the pass opens, and we're probably going to see some early PvP. So I kind of get at least a little bit of a heads up, if you will, an early warning system on when those things may or may not happen. Or I should say the opportunity for them to happen more specifically. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Because, I mean, right now, there's 15 Season 2 plus groups. And in Season 2, there's 66, 9? No, sorry, not 9. 7. There's 7 Season 2 groups. So at the moment, there's about 22, 23 KVK groups between Season 2 and Season 2 Plus that are going on. So, you think about going into each of those groups, pulling some data from the boards, looking at the overlay of the map, and then asking some questions in there, right? It's kind of the bare minimum. It takes a little bit of time, but that's one of the reasons why I do it usually every 2 to 3 days. On average, unless I know for a fact that there's a little bit longer of a lull. And then what I like to do as well is I'll put the date there that I need to then check back in, because that helps a lot with me knowing, okay, well, this is when I need to go and check back in, because there's a chance that maybe there's the next action date, something next that's going to be happening. And what's interesting is that even though SVG and RoG feel like they are making some good headway here against IL, or at least you could say in this instance, right, based on activity numbers. I mean, IL is still fighting. And like I said, I don't know who's been pushing or who hasn't pushed, because I haven't checked here lately after Thunder Rock has been capped. So, again, right, that's... Or are they fighting down here too? Oh, look at that. So, yeah. Oh, look, dude, they're brawling down here too as well. Oh, let's watch this. This is a little bit more of a brawl. And this is also one that SVGa is in. So, you got SVGa and some RoG. Oh, and this is RoGR, excuse me. So, I guess in that case, technically, it is really more of a 4v2. I guess just the RoGR players had to run up a little bit more here. So, yeah. There you go. Which is wild because the RoGR players are here. So, yeah, I mean, like, they're having to run up a bit. I mean, I guess it doesn't take that long. Maybe, what, it's like a 5-6 minute walk up there? Maybe longer. Maybe 7 or 8 minutes, probably. I'm sure someone will let me know. Yeah, but there you go. 4v2. And this is a little more clear. I want to point this out because last time when we watched this like we didn't see this amount of SVGa and RoGR, and more specifically for the moment that I watched. Right, let me be clear there. It was really more of SVG and RoG that I saw, and then it was like across the river there were some sprinklings of SVG. I think they had some flying units and maybe a couple mages there for the very far range distance. And what's awesome is this is actually on my scout. Oh, dang it. I was going to say, man, I could have went in, but I'm actually observing through my scout. I'm just not here in the group at the moment. Oh, I see. So Squiggly IL's fighting. Let's see what's happening. So Squiggly IL is fighting them in a 1v2, and then IL Squiggly up north is fighting those other two in a 1v2. Venox coming in with the rally. Looks like just that. Oh, I thought that was the city coming in. Looks like maybe one of the Squiggly IL players TP'd out. Yeah, you know what I'd almost love to see is if the SVGa kind of took a page out of the GG Selly Team 6 and or the kind of TFS flying battalion playbook and just had their flyers go over here and just start flanking them from the side. Right? That could be cool. And it's interesting that they're condensing themselves into this kind of small group. I mean, again, you have more width to work with. But similar, I mean, IL, I guess, is doing an okay job just based on their numbers. I would just like to see a little bit more spread there from the SVG and the RoGR team. Yeah, and this is actually pretty interesting, right? Throwing the Tear of Arbin there on the water to get retain some distance, but also not allowing any of the ground forces to reach you from there as well. And interesting kind of safe play, but I mean it worked out, right? Still end up getting the full heal off. That terrifying Inferno time bomb getting thrown down. Oh, timer's going down. There you go. Pops. Hits up to 3. That's what you want. Another Tear of Arbin. That Divine Mercy getting thrown down. Getting some heal. What do we got? A lot of Lilias. We got some Theas and Atheists there for the flying groups. Good old Waldir making some plays or some appearances. We got Valn. Pretty much for the most part looks like what we're seeing out of Mage. Oh, I always forget talking about the pets. Yeah, when I finally start using and capping pets, I'll talk about it more. Okay, let's go see if we're getting a little more action here on this fight. Let's go back up here. Yo, HEL only farms? It's great. If the name was just Only Farms, that would be even better. But it's still funny. Yeah, some of what we were saying before, man. Let's Oh, I see SVG. SVG's kind of harassing there with some flying. Yeah, but still, why not? Why not try to engage at least a little bit more here? Right, definitely some opportunity there to do so. All right, lady, just send me something funny. I love that woman. Where are we at right now? We're at 20 minutes. I mean, again, man, non-stop fighting. Non-stop fighting. They got 21 minutes until the tower gets up. Oh, dude, look at this, man. RoGR, SVGa doing a little bit more of a push here. Whose flag is this? I also have SVGa's flag. Okay. So they need to try and get... Oh, I see. Probably to this flag, right? They probably need to try and get to this flag. Jeez, man. They're going at it right now. Oh, let me get a screenshot. You guys need to start reminding me. Well, to be fair, this isn't live, so I shouldn't say that. Well, I need to be remembering to grab screenshots, like while I'm doing the fights. Very important. Very important to grab some screenshots. Bump to go. Bump bump. Oh, not bad. Yeah, 3 soon. Oh, is the guy coming back in? Okay, was that the person that left? I just look. Oh, dude's on fire. You were on fire. Yeah. Man, I gotta love the back and forth. You know, it's funny. I wonder if anyone ever wonders why I smile so much while I'm watching PvP. It just is again, I love it, man. I can't tell you how much and how enjoyable it is to watch this type of PvP at the standard that it's currently at when it comes to the features, right? And that's probably more specifically the mechanics and the features that the game allows, with really, you could make an argument, kind of being the first of its kind in all the facets and the quality that it presents and provides to the players. It is, man. I absolutely love it. You know, the fact that we're getting the opportunity to essentially play, you know, kind of a StarCraft Total War or Total Rome style, you know, RTS kingdom builder. It's just, it is, man. Like, I really consider this, that's probably the best way to really put it. This is what I would consider to be an RTS kingdom builder. Like, in its truest sense. And I think that, at least as of now, that's how I would describe this branch of the genre, or this evolution of the genre more importantly, is that that's what it is. Like, it is an RTS kingdom builder. And I think for those players that want a more competitive experience in and within this genre, I mean, CoD is setting that standard. They have been since the game came out. And, you know, thankfully there's been, you know, I think a few recent good net positive changes, despite us still wanting the free healing to be reverted back to what it was before the change. I think that's really important. I still think that needs to happen. Something that, again, I think they said that they're going to continue to monitor and look at. But, I mean, I'm going to do a video that really kind of shows exactly why it needs to be reverted, and even more needs to be done beyond that. That is and kind of is also not related to the healing. Ooh, that missed Shadow Games. Oh, that's rough, man. Divine Mercy and a little bit of heal coming down. That Time Bomb getting thrown over here. Another Divine Mercy, getting some healing going down once again. Ooh. That was rough. That burst strike going down. There you go, hitting your negatives. Ooh, was that 16,000 that I saw there? That terrifying Inferno for 10K. Jeez. Look at that. Like 30, was it 29,000 and 21,000? Bananas. That burst strike hitting for almost 18,000 right there. 16, 18,000 right there. Was 4Ks I think we saw. Look at that Shadow Games. 10K, 7.8K it looked like. Oh, ridiculous. That Shadow Games right there. 5, 6, 7K. Multiple time bombs getting thrown down, hitting up to 3 people. I was thinking about the time bombs. Trying to reduce, and bear in mind, it doesn't do, oh wow, that actually did a lot more than I might have, oh geez, that 13.4K, there was 6K, 4K over there being done. That burst strike going down right there for about 6, 7K damage. Jeez. They are doing it. It's almost at 26 minutes, man. I'm telling you, man, I could watch PvP all day. Okay, SVG RoG, making a statement. Coming in like Flynn. And yeah, I think the IL side is just a little, I don't want to say disorganized. I think just a bit spread out at the moment. Just not in an organized fashion. However, I don't know how active they are around this time. And, or also how depleted both sides may or may not be, depending on how much. But those will factor in, depending on the time of day. It is as well. Is this their peak time? Is it not their peak time? I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. But the one thing I will say is that whenever you have players that are out on the field, number one thing you always have an opportunity to do is to come in, is to be coordinated, we'll say. And so, again, I think I'd like to see a little more out of this instance. Because, I mean, they've had some good numbers on at the beginning of the fight. But yeah, I think that, and that's the challenge that we often talk about, right? It's figuring out. It's figuring out how are you going to. I'll just let that one go out. Figuring out how are you going to set yourselves up like before the fighting starts, and like this is one of the things we often talk about is understanding the importance of one, having as many people get on voice as possible. If you are able to get on voice at any point in time during a real-time war, you should. And then secondly, for those unable or just not on voice at the moment, every player should have instructions on, hey, this is how we play this situation out. This is how we play this situation out. This is how we play this one out. To the point of where you're constantly reiterating that every day, because you want players to memorize those habits so that way they become second nature. On, well, if we get in this situation, this is what we do, right? I'll look for markers. I'll look maybe for like an in-game chat message. But aside from that, it will be like markers, whoever our on-field commander is, if they've been designated. And then if we're in this situation, this is what I know to do. This is what I know to look out for. Those are things you can do via text. You can send Discord announcements. You can send alliance mails out that simplify that for people. And then probably the third thing that alliances have to be very cognizant of is how you instruct people. You cannot sit there and write up a 10-page freaking essay because no one's going to read that shiitake mushroom. You have to try and respectfully, even though I think an easy way to say this is to dumb things down, but an even easier way to say this is just simplify. Make things very rudimentary, very fundamental, and easy to understand. And when you do things like that, in addition to maybe even having like some video examples that you can pass around, like even if someone just recorded a video and said, hey, if we get into this situation, right, this is what we aim to do. But it has to be something that kind of the alliances agree to, and then you would make stuff like that can be dispersed between your players and your allies as well, so you know how to operate. And then, doing things like establishing communication lines. Is everyone going to be in one big VC, and then you're just going to have a couple people that are dedicated to talk? If that's the case, just set up a stage channel, right? Like, that's something that could easily be done. Like, I've seen, even in, like, the TFS Discord, I actually think that, like, them setting up a stage channel could hugely benefit them. And then they just invite multiple people to the stage to speak in kind of a podcasting format, where it's the kind of on-field commanders from the alliances that are there. That way you don't run the risk of having to, you don't need to mute anyone. You don't need to worry about who's going to talk and who's not going to talk. You're just kind of essentially setting yourself up in a way where people can listen in and kind of get those issues or those actions issued out to the players, right, in real time. So, and again, that just kind of goes over a couple. Yo, shout out to our boy Popo QD. Whoop, whoop. That's the 5-0 sound. You know, with the black and white's coming for you. Jeez, so much artifact damage. Jeez, oh my gosh, the Royal Punishment, the Cyclone Blade, the Shadow Caves. Jeez. That was nuts, seeing that. Oh my gosh, look at all that. And right here, right, bunching up a little bit, could be spreading out a little bit more. Same thing, though, here on the Thin Choke. But, I mean, listen, it's, you know, it's like a brawl of damage, right? That's what it is. It's a brawl of damage. All right. All right. Where are we at now? All right, we're at 31 plus, coming up at almost 32 minutes. Oh gosh. Yeah. I would really love to keep going. Most of you know, when I do my recordings, I like to try and keep them to about 20 to 30 minutes on average, with the exception of if we're streaming and we're just going longer than that. But I just like the 20 to 30 minute range. For whatever reason it is, I just like that. Again, that's what I like. You know, I'm not big on doing like an hour, 2 hour recording and then breaking it up so you guys can kind of see like a first part and a second part. You know, if there's like enough time that goes by, you know, then my view is like, hey, I'll just do it into 2 separate kind of main videos instead of having to do different parts. And it kind of sucks because I mean, again, they're going at it, but it's just, you know, it's great. You know, hopefully, if anything, it just kind of craves the enjoyment for wanting to watch more. But yeah, man, listen, shout out to SVG, RoG, the IL fam, even the SVGa RoGR group that we saw fighting down here, if they're still fighting. Never mind, they're just kind of resetting themselves up right now. But yeah, man, it's again, I always will enjoy watching as much PvP as I can, and more importantly, I enjoy being able to show you all, the community, off as much PvP as we can from different groups. So that way you just get a chance to see how things are being done beyond, whether it's outside of your instance, if it's outside of a different season, if it's showing you even Season 1, right, for any potential PvP that happens in any of the zones, even though most of the time we're usually seeing the Season 2 or Season 2 plus PvPs going on. It is. I love being able to show some diverse content when it comes to seeing how other alliances operate, as it can be good insight for those. And of course, if you're just an enjoyer of being able to watch people tear each other's faces off in-game, then hopefully this satisfies that urge for you as well. With that in mind, that's going to do it for me. Of course, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, until next time, I will catch y'all later.